Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Game Over Gerkinman. This is Gerkinman speaking. We're playing Shadows of the Empire, and this is part 4 of a 10-part series on the seminal Nintendo 64 classic. Although some would not call it seminal, and others would not call it a classic. We're here with...
Mark, otherwise known as 13. I am the resident Star Wars fan, expert, whatever, nerd, whatever you want to call me, whatevers. And I'm glad to be here.
Yep, also animator and filmmaker. Good times.
Yes, those things. Who cares? I'm here for the Star Wars.
He's here for the Star Wars.
So
these
Imperial
cutscenes
City
are great.
before they really named it Coruscant.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. Before the prequel was ruined.
Okay, so
yeah, go into this. Go crazy.
let me. All right, first. So what this level is going into is, I guess we're tracking IG-88 on Ord Mantell, or we're tracking Boba Fett, and IG-88 will be there. Spoilers, whatever. In the original, Empire Strikes Back, there is one line early on while they're on Hoth, is that Han mentions that they ran into a bounty hunter on Ord Mantell. I'm not sure if that inspired any of this or anything in the story, the novelizations. So he's looking for IG-88 right now. But I have a feeling that's where a lot of this stuff originated.
IG-88 is a bit of a fan favorite.
He is one of the 6 bounty hunters shown in Empire Strikes Back, and his model is actually shown in the junk room on Cloud City.
Really?
Nice jump. Yeah, so you can actually see they put his prop onto the junk pile, which let fans turn into like, no, there's 4 versions of IG-88. That's why one
I've heard
here, and the other one's found. Yeah,
I've heard that.
It's fans. Yeah.
Jumping in this game is not the best.
Yes, and it's okay though. Oh, well, you're supposed to jump before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this. With jumping, there always seems to be like a half-second delay. It wasn't like Super Mario Brothers where it was like super precise. It was a bit clunky. Anyways,
they had to render all the fog.
Yeah. Well, the fog's there so they don't have to render the background. But you know what you're saying. This ain't no Turok though. Speaking of fog. Yeah. So wait, this is an interesting level. I think design-wise, as far as gameplay mechanics go, it's interesting.
Yeah, lovely use of the music from the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, it's funny how that music isn't in the Battle of Hoth, but it is in this level.
The music track is like 20 minutes long. The entire music track.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of that, I do want to, since we got a while to go on the train, I do want to go back to mention something that in the Hoth level that I was not graciously invited to because I had to work.
You were on holidays.
I was on
You were
holidays,
there for a whole
yes.
week, and we recorded like 15 episodes of different games without you.
Aw. But anyway, so on the Hoth level, you get into this one room where there are 2 Wampas that are locked behind cell doors or something like that.
Unless you're playing on medium, then there's 3. Or if you're playing it on hard, there's 5.
This is, yes. The whole point of this is actually something that was referenced in the novelization of the, and in the comic versions of the original Empire Strikes Back. It was something that was cut out of the movie. They were actually going to have Wampas attack Echo Base, and later on, C-3PO was going to rip off a sign on the door that says, "Don't go in here, Wampas," and then Stormtroopers were going to go in there. It was cut out because they couldn't make it real, but the people who made the game were aware of that stuff that was cut out and put it in, which was, after I found that, it was very, very nice touch.
Yeah, throwing fans
to add in a
bone.
little bit of, it's not even that, because it kind of fits in. It's just something they put in the background, and it's, just kind of helps it being like, hey, this is really Star Wars.
Wampas in this game are annoying. They're just bullet sponges.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the shooting in this game and how weird it is?
This is still, we're still coming off of like GoldenEye targeting and stuff. It's got auto targeting, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
yeah.
But the accuracy lowers the more you fire your weapon with the default laser anyway. But speaking of that, did you usually? I always played this game in first person, but did you play it in third person or? Because you had all those options. You had that cinematic option, which was completely impossible to play with.
With that, I assume that stuff is there for actually like recording cutscenes or stuff like that. I have a feeling.
But there were no cutscenes. All the cutscenes are done with that graphic style. I think it was just to make it more cinematic, like the movies. It was kind of like Resident Evil before Resident Evil.
You gotta go get it. You gotta go get it, and then jump back real quick. Or you're gonna die. Jump back. Get it. Woo! Oh, okay, you died anyway.
I died anyway.
And now you have to start all the way over.
Yep.
Nope, you don't.
Actually, this game has pretty generous checkpoints, which is
nice.
It's kind of like it wasn't very common at the time, really.
Yeah.
This game did a lot of things ahead of its time. It had multiple gameplay styles. None of them worked great, but the thought was there. They're all there. This was early times. People hadn't worked out how to do half this stuff yet.
And this game, this level right now, I have to say, is still more vibrant, even though it has the exact same color scheme as Duke Nukem Forever.
Actually, that's something funny too, because all we did through Duke Nukem Forever was complain about how like grey and brown it is, and at the moment I'm playing through Resident Evil 4, and it's very grey and brown, and for some reason it only adds to the experience. I guess because they use it to create atmosphere. Very much like this, you're on it makes sense in this context.
You're on a junkyard planet essentially with loose swamps and.
You do go past a giant Jawa transport, and I have no idea why.
A sandcrawler.
The sandcrawler. How and why it got there. It was like,
there was an AT. I saw it down to AT-AT before.
Yeah, it was down to AT-AT.
You have to look at it like this: is that I believe all the vehicles are manufactured by like ship dealerships. Like it's like how you go buy a car, you'd see plenty of different cars in a
yeah. So if you look closely, at the ships in Star Wars, they have like Ford and Mercedes and BMW logos.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not like people are going to make their own ships.
Yeah, like right there, it looks like it's like a Lambda shuttle in the on the left, but you can't look there because this is a video.
Sorry, I never noticed that.
This is a pretty long. What's it say down there? Warning. Sharp turn.
Yeah,
that's right.
That was the cool mechanic. If you jump while you're turning, you'll go off the edge, which is weird. but
it's physically correct.
Yeah, games don't usually do physically correct.
And this is.
What are these guys that are on here with the spears, and why are they trying to kill me?
I don't know. I actually have not read, although I have the book. I have not read
the graphic novel.
The novelization of Shadows of the Empire, which is apparently. Okay, so the way Shadows of the Empire was done is that it was a multimedia expanded universe. It wasn't just doing one thing. It was several different types, and each thing had its own variation of the story. I'm
trying to think of like a modern example of that happening.
The Matrix kind of tried to do that.
Yeah, with the Animatrix and the graphic novels and stuff.
The games and stuff, and...
Yeah, similar deal. But this was all based on the one story, and they all told different parts of the one story. So to get the whole story,
like the novelization started at like Luke meeting up with Luke. I believe Luke and Chewbacca meeting up with. No, I'm sorry, Luke and Lando meeting up with.
That's the Sandcrawler.
Dash. Excuse me. Yeah. Sandcrawler. And this one started, and they briefly mentioned that Dash landed on. Was smuggling for the rebels and was in the Battle of Hoth.
And he was already familiar with Han Solo, and that him and Han Solo had been racing ships in the past because they were cheeky buggers.
Yes. Actually, honestly, if they made Shadows of the Empire into a movie today, I think that would be actually kind of cool. It's kind of fitting. You'd have a new character. You wouldn't have to jump in with the other characters.
Yeah, but now everyone's really old.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You don't have to put in the other characters. They only come in a few times. Chewbacca and then
Han at the beginning and Hoth.
Yeah, just about it.
Luke pops up for a moment. You save Luke.
He does. Yeah, you just get, and it's something that I think could work. And I think George Lucas has actually said that if he thought of it during when he was making the movies, they would have turned it into a movie.
Well, is it Zixor, or how do you pronounce that guy's name? He's an interesting villain because he doesn't want
seashore, if I remember.
Seashells by the seashore.
It's like Xixor.
But like he's like a villain, but he's not out there to kill Luke and company. He wants to overthrow Darth Vader as the Emperor's right-hand man, and you guys are just kind of like an inconvenience in the process of doing that. And I think that makes him a very interesting villain.
He's not out to destroy everything. He's just out to do his bad stuff.
He wants to take the place of the guy who's already the big bad guy. And you guys, and this is just kind of like on the side, kind of observing it. It's quite interesting.
It puts you into the universe rather than puts you into the middle of the story, which does kind of work. It's kind of nice. Oh no, a train's going the wrong way. Oh, okay, it's fine.
It's just a slow train.
Yes.
Oh.
And you jump off, die.
Didn't jump far enough. Yeah, you'll notice I didn't cut the deaths out in this game. And that's because like they're so trivial.
Yes.
I will say I also played through this game on easy because on medium all of a sudden it gets much harder.
Hard.
There's only 2 difficulties. There's 4 difficulties actually. There's like easy, and then hard, and then like are you crazy, and then the equivalent to brutal on
yes
Nightmare on Doom.
If you beat it on hard or brutal, you get a slightly extended cutscene.
Oh, even on medium, you get the extended cutscene where like Han Solo,
really?
yeah, he's like they're going through a time warp, and they're like, oh, we're going to.
No, not that one.
Oh, there's another one.
Find out what actually happens to Dash Rendar and the robot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, they're in the middle of a warp.
Oh yeah, okay, so it does happen on medium.
Yeah.
But we have great views here. I'm glad that you decided to just...
Well, we're gonna, like, plow into the side of a building. I want to be safe. Here comes that cult favorite. I do love... I don't know if they are or not, but I'm assuming these cutscenes, they're taken from panels from the graphic novel.
I'm unsure, because I've also not seen the graphic. I've seen some of the comics that were played in, were put into Nintendo Power back in the day when this came out.
Oh,
I don't remember that much of it.
I really like the way they did this. I wish more Nintendo 64 games did this, because the cutscenes with the clunky 3D models don't age well, but those still look really nice. Yeah. There he is. Despite being gold in that cutscene, he's now grey and purple. Did you ever bother with the challenge points?
Yeah, we probably did after a while. We played the game several times. I don't remember.
There's a lot of them. Like I spent like probably hundreds of hours trying to work out how to get some of those. And I used to use the old debug code to get the debug menu to get items that you shouldn't have, and I still couldn't get a lot of them. I don't think it's actually possible.
Games were hard. There were oh, look at the percentages rather than actually having hit points.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There is in the swoop level. I remember seeing this. Is that there is one of the challenge points is shaped like, I think it's Sam & Max, because I think that's the same company that made this.
Really? Let's look into that in the break.
Yeah.
So obviously it was LucasArts, but I was just going to ask you if you knew which studio worked on it. Which part of LucasArts? Which team? Sorry, that would be the correct term.
I don't remember the people who made Sam & Max. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know it's the same people who do. You know what? I can't even remember right now. Just go ahead and tell me.
We're gonna look into it. So join us next week, and we'll work out who actually which LucasArts team made this game, and we're going to Tatooine.
Tatooine.
Tatooine.